Hail Satan all day. Hail Satan, you know?
I know a lot of you are gonna be expecting an upload on Valentine's Day, so I will publish this week's video on Wednesday instead. I mean, to me this global oofy doofy day doesn't matter much anyway. It used to bother me in the past, but not anymore. Not more than any other day at least. The global oofy doofy day. If you really need Valentine's Day to get premium treatment from your girl, that means the rest, the remaining 364, wasn't meant for you. I mean, sure, she's gonna get him a present maybe. She's gonna put on a smile to keep the woofy happy, but men women truly love and desire get that treatment without needing the global oofy doofy day. If I wanted to be an oofy doofy beta box deluxe at any cost, I could. Maybe not in the West, but in other parts of the world. You go beg some girl uglier than you know, in some third world country, and you are gonna get yourself into a so-called relationship. To claim otherwise is just cop, bro. At least for the majority, the vast majority of men who live in the West, stoop low enough and you will become an oofy doofy. But if it is not real, what is even the point? You know, I am not gonna go out there and beg just for the sake of having a girlfriend. I could never envy the life of the average oofy doofy. Sure, the average dude might be better looking than me, but still what they have is not really living. Some men live and some men stay alive. So really, Valentine's Day doesn't bother me as much as it used to in the past. I know some people are gonna be like, oh bro, you are coping. I am not. It is fine if you don't feel the same way. If you are envious of the dating life of the average man, that is fine, but personally I am not. Truth be told, I never envied the average male, the life of the average man. In general, not only talking about the dating life, but in general, never in my life. I mean, the average oofy doofy might be better looking than me, sure. If you are gonna say that, fair. But it is like going to a Downey Kids hospital and bragging about IQ mugging the children there. Doesn't mean much. So go ahead, bro. Go celebrate today. You might have to wait another 6 months to get another semi-decent treatment from her. So, go enjoy it. Go be a better clown on this day. Maybe she's gonna put on a smile reluctantly and put out at the end of the day. Once again, reluctantly. But just remember, men that females truly love and desire get the real version of it. The real version of what you think you are getting on Valentine's Day. In a sense, oofy doofies are just like men who find a woman of that seeking arrangement website. Not much different, really. Maybe the nature of their relationship is less official, you know. That sugar daddy title is more subtle and less official, but at the end of the day, that is what it is. So go ahead, bro. Go be a better clown on this day.
The sad part about my situation is I feel like I'm in prison, even though I've always did the right thing and stayed on the right path in life. I feel like women have sentenced me a life, you know, they've given me a life sentence. You know, women have put me on death row. That's why I don't take my bitch ass to church no more, because it ain't done shit for my pathetic bitch ass. That's why I don't go to church anymore. You know, that's why I told my mom, you grew up going to church all your life. What has it done for you? Your life is all fucked up.
But let's get to this week's topic. This is one of the questions I get all the time. How do you find motivation? What keeps you going in life? This is one of the most asked questions. And my personal answer to that question is, you gotta get used to loneliness, bro. Especially if you are sub 5. People always say, you know, I want to looks max, bro. I want to career max. But it is just so hard not to lose motivation and drop out of college. When you are socially isolated, everything just seems so draining. Everything is just so depressing. And I get it, man, because I've been there myself. The answer is sometimes you gotta get used to loneliness, because the alternative is worse unless you have loaded enabler parents. I know those kind of people in this community as well. Their parents just send them to Europe and rent them a condo in some fancy city. They live there, drinking and shitposting on Discord. I didn't have that privilege, bro. I'm talking to these guys and I am like, how do I get your parents to adopt me? At least you can be invisible. Like that line. If I can't be beautiful, I wanna be invisible. I call this group, I call these guys good lifers. Because even if you are sub 5, at least you can cope in comfort. The rest of us, don't have that privilege. If we don't keep going, we are gonna have much bigger problems. If I had dropped out of college, if I had given into depression, I would have much bigger problems now. I personally managed to graduate despite depression and kept going in life because like I had no other option, bro. No other option. But I have been there myself. I know what it feels like. It just feels some kind of way to be a sub-5 manlet dude in college. Everywhere you look, almost every dude is 6 foot tall. Plenty of promiscuity, party life, which is expected, you know. Brutal stuff, bro. Even saying these, like, uttering these words alone is giving me PTSD. And dude, it is much worse when you live in a dorm cause you are exposed to the mug and promiscuity 24/7. Like, I was so demoralized there, man. In that dorm, I had to move out to some tiny apartment in some residential ethnic neighborhood. I told the sob story to my parents, explaining why I had to ditch the dorm. Oh, I can't concentrate on my studies right now with all the partying, all the noise and distraction. Which was technically the truth, but not the real reason why I moved out. I had found some real cheap apartment in some ethnic neighborhood, you know. And I remember the dude. The landlord was some old ethnic guy. He was looking at me up and down, not convinced. Oh, you are not allowed to party or play music. This is a family building. Dude, like, I am not coming here to party. I am running away from it. You ain't gotta worry about that. Who would come here to this hellhole to party anyway? Brother, like, there's a reason why you had to rent it to me. You find a girl to party with. You would lose that girl the moment you tell her where you live. What are you talking about, man? After I moved in, his worries disappeared, of course. He was probably like, damn, this dude is like a ghost. He was living in the same building. They were the owners of the building. But after that, college life got way easier. I could focus on my studies easier, and coping got easier as well. My mood improved. So that helped me get through college. But like, if I had dropped out, if I had given in to depression, I would have much bigger problems now. Because I don't come from a rich family. Imagine having to work at McDonald's on top of being a lonely sub-5 male. That is how I kept going. You either spread your wings and fly or hit the ground and die. Because I knew if I wasn't better than the next guy, if I didn't have in-demand qualifications, the best job my face was gonna get me would be in McDonald's. That is how I learned to get used to loneliness. You gotta get used to loneliness, man, as a sub-5. Some people gotta get used to loneliness and keep going because the alternative is worse, much worse. For some people, not everybody of course, but for some people like me, it comes down to that. But I understand that there is not a singular solution that is gonna apply to everyone to find that motivation to keep going in life. And not everybody is cut out for that life. Many people, most people, not many, most, can't live like I do. It was funny witnessing all that hysteria about isolation during those COVID times. People were losing their minds. They couldn't go out to parties and clubs for a few months and they were losing their minds, bro. It reminded me once again, their reaction, the outcry, to a tiny, tiny glimpse of my life reminded me once again. People ain't cut for this life, man. So I get it. Now, your reason, your motivation might be completely different. As cliche as it sounds, there is not an objective meaning to life, man. There is really not. You can say reproducing maybe, but even that is somewhat subjective. And the truth is, there is no silver bullet answer to that question. Or yeah, bro, how do I find motivation? I don't have a one-size-fits-all type answer that will apply to everybody. Nobody has. I know it sounds cliche and some of you are gonna cringe at this, but life's meaning is what you make of it. Like, the best I can say is be a little careful. Don't give yourself over to anything that will provide you with motivation and a sense of purpose. You gotta be careful searching for that motivation. Motivated people are easiest people to get scammed. The easiest. A not so bright mind and strong motivation is a great concoction to get your life ruined. But that being said, I do have some tips that will make it go down easier. I can't really tell you what should be your motivation in life, but what I can do is give you some tips to make the ride smoother.
It's all about gaining the things that you want in life. I would take the mark of the beast on my head, you know, so what if I go to hell and burn for all eternity? I want the things of the world.
I will start with the most important one. I believe this is the most important point. Put the theory into practice. Put what you learn here to use in real life. Implement the looks are everything motto into other parts of your life as well. Much of life is about looks. Implement this into everything. When I say looks are everything, lower IQ people think this is only about women and dating. Bro, I literally mean life itself. I have seen and experienced this myself time and time again in life. I am literally giving you something I wish my parents had taught me about. My parents didn't teach me about this. Much of life is about what you look like you are and what you look like you can do, not about what you are and what you can do. This is one life advice I can give to you. People always overestimate the latter. Now, I am not saying what you can actually do doesn't matter at all, but people really don't understand the importance of the former. The way my family raised me, I came from liberal blue pill parents that were not rich, just middle class workers. I had to figure this out on my own. And this is easily the top 5 life advice I can give to you. Much of life is about what you look like you are. Sadly and unfortunately. Chances are you don't implement this looks are the most important factor idea into other aspects, into other areas of your life. After I started operating on this principle, so many times I would be like, I can't believe this actually worked out. I witnessed this when I was job hunting after college graduation. You know, being a dude who didn't have friends and family in high places. I had to work my way up. Later, it finally hit me, man. All along, I had been too worried and concerned with my actual abilities and not enough with my looks. You know, not enough with what I look like I can do. Then I witnessed this multiple times at workplace. I had witnessed this during high school when I got accused of something I didn't do. It happens on the street. You can be a guy who's carrying, who's actually dangerous, but if you look like an easy target, you will be the one getting targeted, not me. They will look at me and think, man, this guy is not worth the risk. This guy will waste me and sleep like a baby that night. Instead, they will go and target you, who might be carrying something, and boom, one goes to the prison, the other to the grave. Me, I go home. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
So it is all about being able to sell the idea that you can be dangerous. By the way, of course, I don't say this with an autistic sense of go be a total fraud. It might work out fine in some situations. It can be useful at times, but remember, when it is time to perform and you can't, there is going to be a problem. Maybe you can get to the title, maybe you can get to the position by focusing on the looks, but still, when it is time to perform, you gotta be able to perform. This doesn't change the fact that looks are still more important because it gets you in. That is one of the mistakes I have done in my life, realizing this too late. Much of life is about looks. It is not about who you are. My blue pill parents didn't teach me about this.
In life, you can't always be tough. Sometimes you just gotta bitch out, you know, you gotta bitch out, you know.
2. Don't be ashamed to vent and feel sorry at times. It is only natural, man, especially when you are a low-status sub-8 man in the West. Sometimes it is okay, it is fine to feel sorry. You ain't gotta act tough and strong all the time. Sitting on your behind and venting when you are feeling sorry is actually more therapeutic than putting on a fake smile. The 3rd point, related to the previous advice. Yes, of course, don't hide your emotions. Don't smile like an idiot, like a clown when you don't feel like it. But don't show your feelings to other people. Don't show other people how you feel like either. Especially to people who don't care, which is pretty much everybody. People just take pleasure at other people's suffering because that makes them feel better about themselves. Of course, they are not gonna say that to your face, but trust and believe that is how they are gonna feel. Everything is relative in life. If everybody has a better life than you won't think you have a good life. It is like people slowing down and rolling down their windows when they see a traffic accident to take a look. Oh, thank God, that wasn't us. Let's drive off now and pig out at some restaurant. People are psychopaths, man. My 4th advice would be, understand the BP relativity. Guys, the mug is relative. Once you understand this, you can enjoy what you might consider little things in life. To you, maybe that's a little pleasure, that's a little thing. To someone else, it might be huge. Remember, no matter how bad you have it, there is someone out there having it worse than you. No need to turn this into a victimhood Olympics of who has it worse. They are not gonna give you a medal, bro. If you have a relative advantage, don't be ashamed of taking advantage of it. Number 5. Don't get ahead of yourself. Set realistic goals. Start small. If you set unrealistic goals and expectations, the only thing you are doing is setting yourself up for disappointment. It will only make you lose motivation when you inevitably fail to reach that unrealistic goal. The next advice is kind of related to the previous point. Don't take everything too seriously, bro. Don't be harsh on yourself cause it wasn't your fault to begin with. And remember that everybody's gonna perish one day. Lighten the fuck up, bro. And the last tip to help you find motivation in life is probably something you wouldn't expect from me. And that is religion. I know this might surprise some of you, but if you can successfully execute this, it can be good for you, man. This is not for me personally, because in order for this to work, actually work, it has to be genuine. You gotta be genuinely believing in that religion, and how you are gonna go to heaven for putting up with this stuff. But hey man, if this works for you, whatever floats your boat. These points are not gonna give you motivation on their own. Only you can do that. Only you can find motivation and meaning in life. But I believe they will help. Don't be a free agent in life.